lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
From Phoenix Raceway, the A Lot Cleaner Xfinity Series is here in week number 4, and we get to duel in the desert. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to beautiful Avondale, Arizona, where this desert heat is about to get turned up to broil on this 1-mile asphalt battleground. We're on the final stop of the West Coast swing here to open the 2023 season, and what a great series of weeks we've had. 3 races and 3 different winners. That's something you didn't see last season. Mike Wright still has yet to capture his first checkered flag of this campaign. Question is, will tonight be his first, or will someone else host the trophy in Victory Lane tonight? I'm Dave Regal here in the broadcast booth alongside my fresh out-of-the-box partner, Jacob Zala, and we'd like to thank you for making SRM a part of your evening, because we'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, here on Sim Racing Media. And Jacob, it is great to have you with me here in the broadcast booth as we are getting ready for qualifying tonight. We can see Gabriel Lafreniere out here on track, and I'll tell you what, it's exciting to have you in the booth here tonight, brother.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to watch these guys go around this track. I've been doing a lot of racing here this week, and you can see these cars probably start to get loose later in the run, so we'll see how these guys are able to handle the car and the track tonight. And hopefully, everything said and done, we'll have a good run, a good race.
Absolutely, and you know this is a pretty big deal at a track like this. I mean, you know, last night in the Xfinity series, in the Cup series, It was quite a battle, if you will. And, tonight we expect nothing different. But these drivers, first off, our primary sponsor, of course, is A Lot Cleaner Property Maintenance. And these drivers drive, for lack of a better term, a lot cleaner. Right now, Brandon Minto sitting atop the pile. He has recorded fastest time, but Carlos Ramos here in the number 97 machine, he's out here on his second lap trying to crank up the heat. He gets loose coming out of turn number 2 as he dives it down into 3 off of the backstretch. We come into the Geico restart zone into 4, and he rubs the wall. That will negate the second lap. However, let's see, this would be the 2021 Truck Series champion, Mr. Bob Nestor, in the number 63 Toyota Supra, sponsored by Relative Properties. He's out here finishing his second lap. Let's see where he finishes. Looks like Nestor going to go 9th fastest on the leaderboard. Ben Robinson from across the pond driving for Jack Dow Motorsports, netting 7th fastest right now, as we still have several drivers here, Jacob, that they just haven't gotten out there to record these qualifying laps. What are you looking to see tonight here at Phoenix?
I'm looking to see a lot of good racing, some nice, clean racing. But there's one guy I want to talk about, and that's our pole sitter right now, RP Allen. I've actually had the chance to race with RP Allen this week in the Open Series. He looks really fast, so I'm excited to see what he can do in the series tonight and see if he can pull off a win.
RP Allen is a perennial, top 5 finisher. In fact, last season, if I wasn't talking to Mike Wright, I was talking to RP Allen or Bennett Allen. In fact, both Allen brothers in the top 5 tonight, as RP sits on the pole position with Bennett Allen right now netting 4th fastest. Watching Corey Burkett finish his time in the 11:10, number 13. He and I had just spoken off air a few minutes before we went live, and he's not in the correct paint scheme, so not sure what's causing that for him, but we'll get that straightened out hopefully by next week. And speaking of next week, Jacob, if you happen to be training next week, it will not be with yours truly, as I will be off next week on vacation, so a little different there. But otherwise, welcome into the broadcast booth. Glad to have you in here. Let's talk a little bit about our race conditions here tonight. Pull this beautiful bean footage up. Looks like right now 77 degrees ambient air temperature, just 20% humidity. So it's literally a dry heat, as we hear so often about Phoenix Raceway. But take a look at that track temperature, 100 degrees. And we can see already these Xfinity machines starting to slip slide around.
Yeah, that track temp being really high is going to push these drivers, make sure they get their throttle control, because these tires will get hot and they will start to slip and get loose. So these drivers are going to have to make sure they don't push the throttle too hard, or they're going to end up getting loose and spinning out.
Yeah, these Xfinity cars, they definitely have a lot of torque at the rear end. And, to be completely honest, it's one of those situations where you don't want to get on the throttle too soon and burn up those rear tires, but at the same time, you don't want somebody else to do the same thing and perhaps either hit you or get that run that's oh so important. Right now, I'm going to try to take a moment here and get in touch with RP Allen, and we'll see if we can find him here in the Money House Racing team chat. Hey, RP, it's Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy? Of course not. Oh. Hey, RP, it's Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I got you, man.
Hey, man, listen, here you are sitting atop the pile, just a couple of drivers not having qualified tonight. So what are you thinking going into this race, 200 laps here in the desert?
Keep it clean, don't get turned on the dog leg, and have some fun.
Well, I guess that's the only way that you can do that. Last night, not such a great night in Cup Series, as we had a whole lot of cautions going on. What are you thinking tonight with this group of drivers?
Usually Xfinity's a little bit better in terms of give and take. It's just really hard with the Cup car to always have control. They're really snappy, so hopefully we can get some good green flag runs in today.
All right, man. Well, so far, congratulations on sitting on the pole position. I mean, I hate to say it this way, but Matt White looks like he's not out here. Lauren Jones, I don't see being a threat. Randy Lapidus and Chad Sander yet to lay down the qualifying laps that they need to. So looks like you are going to be locked in as the pole sitter, brother.
Yeah, that's awesome. I did not expect that. Thank you.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
And, of course, R.P. Allen from Money House Racing. Of course, Money House Racing, a favorite of mine. And, you got to watch those drivers, Jacob. And, for starters, I've talked about this for the last couple of weeks. I've been with the Xfinity group here for the last, couple of seasons. In fact, last year was my first full season in the broadcast booth for them. The year before, I was on track, and here I am in season number 3 with the MNN Xfinity series. And these drivers, you kind of all start to gel together. I mean, a lot of these drivers have been together for even more than just these past 3 years that I'm aware of. So a lot of familiarity around the drivers, a lot of familiarity here in Phoenix. And I mean, that's pretty much all she wrote at this point until the green flag drops.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, I mean, I've been here for about a couple weeks now. A lot of these guys are hot to bring you in, and they like to bring you in. So, I mean, a lot of these guys seem really cool, and I can't wait to get to venture out with a lot of these guys and get more into knowing them as we go further on.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing. Usually, of course, now you were in the truck series last week, correct?
Yep, I will be in the truck series.
So, of course, just as a reminder, everybody, the truck series this week in the SNN Truck Series, sponsored by Jack Dow Motorsports and Esports Simulators, they are off. So the next SNN race that we're going to have here on Sim Racing Media going to be Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. The SNN Cup Series heads to Hotlanta for the Am Better Health 400. And something that we don't talk about enough, I feel, especially in this situation, is these races are all 100%. So whatever the real life Xfinity drivers ran, that's what we're going to run tonight. Whatever the real life Cup Series drivers ran, that's what they run on Sunday nights, and trucks the same way. And what makes that interesting is you're able to set up that car, for the different runs, for the stages. And of course, we do have stages in tonight's race, 200 scheduled laps we are supposed to have tonight. And stage 1 going to conclude at lap number 45. Stage 2 going to conclude at lap number 90. Now, when I say conclude, I mean when the 10th place car crosses on what would be lap 46 and lap 49, respectively. Once that 10th place car crosses the start-finish line, race control will throw the yellow flag, and we will be under caution for that competition caution. So a pretty interesting night. And one of the things that, also gets brought up more often than not, sometimes the most thankless job in all of sim racing is race control. So we do want to thank them. Not sure who's working in race control this evening, as I don't see them here, but hopefully they can be popping in and out with us if they're listening to the broadcast, because it's always nice when we can get a couple of people here with some different perspectives. And speaking of perspectives, we saw that sun suddenly dip down here in Sim World, and you know what that means.
Yep, that means the track.
Go ahead.
That means the track temp is going to go down, and we're going to see some more good racing there.
Yeah, in fact, let's see what that track temperature is. 92 degrees here on the right-hand side of your screen, folks. So definitely a lot different than it was during qualifying. So that should put a little bit more grip in the track, right?
Hopefully. I mean, it could, but we'll see if that sun comes back out.
Absolutely. And as the drivers are getting ready to roll off a pit road, we see R.P. Allen here as we roll through our starting lineup. Looks like it's going to be 33 drivers. It should be 33 drivers tonight taking the green flag, as just about everybody in the cockpit of their machines right now, as we're waiting for everybody else to slide in here. I don't want to miss anybody. I don't want to miss anything. R.P. Allen going to be sitting on the pole position for this evening in the number 7 Microsoft Toyota Supra. He's going to be joined by Chris Mathis from Phoenix City on the outside of row number 1 in that number 54 Toyota Supra. So a couple of Toyotas leading the pack here to green. Logan Truitt in our first blue oval. This is a nice mix up here atop the pile in the number 20, the Wellman, Iowa native, our first Ford Mustang of the evening. Channing Ballou from Pensacola, Florida, going to be starting on the outside of row number 2 with Bennett Allen and Brandon Minto on row number 3. Row number 4 made up of Carlos Ramos from Columbia, South Carolina, and Finn Robinson, our friend from across the pond in Shropshire. He's going to be starting the number 26 Chevrolet Camaro in 8th position. Eugenio Alonso, of course, we talked about him earlier, and you know what? Our Buenos Aires friend, he is always a driver to watch. I mean, I was door-to-door with him last night, and just a competitive driver, great guy as well. And you know what? All of those guys over at Jackdown Motorsports, just some great guys. He'll be joined by Case and Plot on the outside in the number 61 Valvoline Chevrolet Camaro. Valvoline, a proud partner of Chevrolet for generations of drivers, with Andrew T. Jones and Jeremy Paris going to make up row number 6. Row number 7 made up of John Crow Sr. and Kyle Ryan from Wilmington. We still haven't gotten clarification on which Wilmington Kyle Ryan is from. But row number 8 made up of Sean Kelly and Gabriel Lafreniere, with Bob Nestor and Jeff Carson, 2 Toyota teammates from the Joe Gibbs Racing Stables, going to be starting side-by-side on row number 9. Dylan Ackart and Kavaja Holt going to be in row number 10. Kavaja from Waynesboro, definitely a driver always to keep your eyes open for, along with chief cook and bottle washer of the Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series, Mr. Chris Claude, going to be starting on the inside of row number 11, joined by Aaron Mack. Of course, Aaron Mack picking up the big win earlier this season in the Cup Series from Fort Riley, Kansas, here to try his hand in the Xfinity Series. Our good friend, our very good friend, Tony Burt, driver of the number 4 and owner of the A Lot Cleaner property management company, he is out here starting in the number 4 Chevrolet Camaro in row number 11. Well, everybody just suddenly shifted around here. Row number 13 going to be Chris Custer. Chris's daughter last week sticking around with us in the live chat. Hopefully she's along for the ride this week, alongside Anthony Paggio in the 07. Starting in 27th, Dan Morgan from Dubuque, with Ron Fitting in the number 50 from Sumter, South Carolina, in the number 50 Chevrolet Camaro, starting 28th. 29th and 30th going to be Chad Sanner and Brad Gunn, with Matt White starting shotgun on the field, as we have 31 drivers on the asphalt right now. It looks like Doug Argabright and John Bawalda III sitting on pit road, so they just very well may be starting from the pits. But ladies and gentlemen, grab some popcorn, call a friend, settle in, because we are green flag racing in the desert. Here, go ahead. Taking a look right now at the 95 of John Crow Sr. He's trying to hold his own. Oh, and we are under caution, as it looks like Tony Burt may have had himself an opening issue here. Stand by, folks, as this is not the way anybody wants to start. We see Tony Burt coming through that dog leg, and it looks like he just gets tight here, but I don't see any crash. It's almost like smoke, no fire. There it is on those cold tires. Ooh, noses right into the wall early on here, but a long race to go here, Tony, so hopefully he can pull that back together. Jacob, kind of a similar start to what happened last night in the Cup Series. How did that start look for you?
There and got into the fence. He's got a lot of damage on the front, so hopefully he'll be able to get that fixed and get that car back into shape where he needs to be.
Yeah, right now it looks like that knocks Tony back to 31st. He hasn't come down pit road, so maybe he checked the RPMs and figured I'll come in, later on here, just as we're passing what would be almost the exit to pit road. And here's the thing, and let's take a look up here from the blimp up here, if I can. There we go. You can see this right here, just past where it says O'Reilly. That's technically the Geico restart zone. You can see just in that upper right-hand quadrant there. That's the start-finish line. And coming out of turn 2 is the entrance to pit road, and it is such a long pit road. So, Jacob, how is getting off and on here going to affect these drivers tonight?
Well, I mean, you've seen it last night in the Cup Series race. I mean, getting onto pit road is just going to be tough because under green flag conditions, you have to dive straight down, and it'll be tough for these drivers to get through. Getting out of pit road shouldn't be too hard. I mean, you might lose some spots taking four, you might not. It just depends on how you control your speed within pit road.
Yeah, and that 45 miles per hour speed limit is something where, one wrong twitch of your foot, it's not as bad as as a Martinsville or, Bristol where it's a super short track, but a short track like this, just 1.01 miles long, there is a lot to worry about as we pull up our leaderboard here on lap number 4. You can see how we're going to restart a little bit different from our starting lineup as Chris Mathis now has shuffled himself to the point, but it was kind of an interesting battle coming in here to this particular start. Everybody getting ready to go side by side, getting themselves shuffled in. Kason Plott managed to get himself up 3 positions, so obviously there is a benefactor of this very first caution on the very first lap here in the number 61 Valvoline Chevrolet. Of course, Valvoline, a proud partner of the Dale Jr. Download last season. As the iRacing.com pace car lights have turned out, that means we'll be getting ready to go back green flag racing. And now we can take a look at this now, folks, as we're going to see the iRacing.com pace car kind of dive in early, what we would perceive to be early, onto pit road. So we're sitting right now here at the exit to turn 1, the entrance of 2. And here at the exit of turn 2, we're going to see the iRacing.com pace car take that hard left turn. But we still have a long way to go here as we're still sitting in the middle of the backstretch and not even at turn 3 yet. As now that control car, that first place car on the inside, he's going to have to sit there and kind of hang on tight for a few moments. As we are going to see these cars come out of turn number 4. We'll take a look here from our starter cam. The man in the stand has the green flag in his hand. They hit the Geico restart zone. The flag waves, and we're back underway. All kinds of traffic going on back here as we were just
we
about...
got a spin.
We got a spinner, but still green, as they didn't turn all the way sideways. Side by side goes the 15 and the 26. That's Bennett Allen alongside Finn Robinson, and now we're under caution.
Yeah, that took a long time for the caution to come out there.
Stand by, folks, as we get this running here. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Jacob. I'll have to get that fixed during a break. We can see exactly what went on here, Jacob, as that's the 38 machine. And of course, the 38 has the wrong paint scheme on it. So I'll have to look at this from John Crow Sr.'s perspective here. And it just goes on behind him. There he is, Sean Kelly. Jacob, that looks like quite a mess. And so early on now, 2 cautions within just 6 laps. This is starting to feel a little bit like last night.
Yeah, I think these drivers are just running a little too hot, taking too many inches that they don't need to be right now, which is why these cautions are coming right after another. And like they say, cautions do breed cautions, but sometimes these guys just got to get back in their head and run a smarter race so they don't wreck themselves and wreck others.
I mean, you couldn't have said it better. We're going to take a look up here from the chopper cam, and we're going to be able to get a pretty good perspective here above the 95 and the 38. Looks like the 66 coming into dance. And it looks like the 95 went to give the 66 some room, and all kind of havoc just breaks loose. And unfortunately, that's just something, racing's racing. And, one driver trying to be courteous in the case of the 95 of John Crow Sr., and, another driver just not ready for it in the event of the 38. So that'll bring out the second caution now. And stand by, folks, as I'm going to fix a little bit of an audio problem here, so give us one moment. That ought to fix that replay issue. It was every time I put the replay mask up, it was clipping you off, Jacob. So I do want to apologize about that, as I know that your thoughts are very important.
You know, it's all good, man. Sometimes things happen, and you just got to deal with it and figure it out.
Well, it's nice to be sitting up here in the broadcast booth, sharing the booth with somebody for a change. I mean, usually I wind up babbling on for a couple hundred laps. And don't get me wrong, folks, I love to hang out with you, but sometimes Dave needs a breather. But Leo Bonacasa, of course, I feel like if there was a Dave Regal fan club in the world of sim racing broadcasting, I feel like I would nominate Leo for president of the Dave Regal fan club. Looks like Alex Princeton in here, welcoming everybody in. Vaughn Farm calling it Dr. Robert Nestor and telling Tony Burt to keep it straight. Looks like Jay Pareto saying, let's go, Sean. So glad to have all of you in with us, as there's 26 currently watching together. So pretty big crowd. Glad to have you all with us as the iRacing.com pace car dips back down onto pit road. And Jacob, what are you looking for this time with the restart?
Definitely looking to see if the 54 is going to take a jump here at the Geico restart zone, or if he's going to keep it on the green flag.
Yeah, and that's something that we see so often. And, right now the 42 just nuzzled up in there, but the 54 takes the jump. And now all of a sudden Channing Ballou kind of left in the dust, and it just, right here at the start-finish line, it turns into a hornet's nest. As up, here we are under caution again.
Another big crash again. Seems like it came from the back again.
Well, let's see. In the words of the wide world of sports, let's take a look, as it looks like Chad Sanner may have been involved in this incident this time. Taking a look right here at the 59 as we're coming back to green. Looks like he gets moving. Not a big checkup or anything. The smoke was up here. What is that? The 97.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be the 97 and the 05.
Let's see if we can get a little bit better of a view here. Speaking of the 97 and the 05, the 97 in that light blue machine, all of a sudden it didn't want to sit there anymore. I don't know what I just did to SDK, but it made itself very upset. I see what happened. Well, let's see if I can rewind this back to the wreck. Bring this back up here. Keep an eye on that light blue and black 97 as the 05 just washes right up into him. And 97 getting the brunt of that, and just all kinds of mayhem. And oof. Well, we can see right there that the 97 looks like that motor is blown.
Yep, and unfortunately for him, you can't get another one. So.
No, instead it's a long time of required repair out here. 13 laps, and we're not even a third of the way through stage number 1, and we've had quite a few cautions. I'll tell you what, Jacob, I know that maybe we gave it the broadcaster's jinx early, but I thought we were going to see a lot cleaner racing here in the a lot cleaner Xfinity series.
Yeah, I mean, with these Xfinity cars, it should be easier to get that clean racing, but I think also some of these guys are trying to get positions early, like I said earlier, trying to get positions early, just trying to make moves that they probably shouldn't this early into a race, and that's what's causing a lot of these cautions.
Well, without a doubt, and, once again, want to welcome everybody into the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth. Dave Regal and Jacob Sala with you. Of course, usually a solo show for me, but tonight I get to share it with my good buddy here, Jacob. And this is your maiden voyage with Sim Racing Media, correct?
Yeah, this is the first time I've been on Sim Racing Media.
For lack of a better term, we like to have fun. Of course, you were sitting there in the Discord with us this afternoon, and Matt Metler, who of course is one of the two fabulous voices of SNN Cup Series racing, was giving me a little bit of a ribbon as we have worked together several times now, and I'll tell you what, you're gonna like hanging out with a lot of these broadcasters at Sim Racing Media. Most of us like to have a lot of fun. Of course, I was telling you off air before the broadcast, I'm a little neurotic. I like to make sure that everything is just right, and of course, that comes along with getting comfortable in your own skin. So, there's no pressure at all. Just make sure you don't screw up.
Oh yeah, no pressure's taken. I actually feel really good right now. I'm comfortable. It's just watching racing, watching something you love, and commentating about it, talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my brother from another mother, Mr. Tony Trapasso, of course, he is on another commitment, another assignment this evening. He and I he broke me in with the Western States Racing League, and if you ever get a chance, you got to check out the WSRL on a Tuesday night. They start at 10:15 p.m., but wow, what a great group of drivers. As we get ready to head into the Geico restart zone yet again, we're going to see if we can see these cars fan out a little bit more this time. Looks like a good clean restart here from the blimp as Chris Mathis gets the run finally. Maybe we can see some good racing. Not that we don't have good racing usually, but this has been a pretty hairy start to our evening. Looks like they're going to go fender to fender back here. The 20 of Logan Truitt and Brandon Minto in the upside number 12 Ford Mustang. They're going to try to get those hammer and tongs out early. But don't look now. Bennett Allen in the 15. He is going to be marching forward now as he's dropped a position that from where he had qualified. So everybody finally finding that line, getting single file, which, as you know, is so important at a place like this.
This green flag racing is really important. We're seeing a little bit of battle right now for the second spot between RP Allen and John Ballew. These guys looking to get to the leader.
Well, and of course, battling it out for a position behind somebody like Chris Mathis is only good for Mathis because, they're concentrating on each other. They're not worried about where he is. And that's going to allow Mathis to open up a lead. And so far, looks like Mathis has 0.3 of a second over Ballew and RP Allen. And I'll tell you what, Preston's going to have a lot of work to do tonight. But looking a little bit further back here in the field, Gabriel Lafreniere, one of our neighbors from the north, he's up 6 positions right now, running in 11th position. Meanwhile, Aaron Mack, our Cup Series winner at Daytona earlier in this season, he's got the 31 cranked up here, up 12 positions. Our biggest mover of the night so far, Mr. Matt White. And, I had talked about it earlier, and, RP Allen qualified on the pole, but I would have bet dollars to donuts if Matt White would have gone out there. He really could have given RP a run for his money in qualifying. And, here we are just 20 laps in, almost halfway through now this first stage, and Matt White starting to march.
Yeah, and it looks like we're about to get a battle for a lead here. Ballew is catching Chris Mathis, and he's not too far behind. Looks like he's going to try to take a pass on the inside, side by side to turn 2. Can he clear him? He got really loose there. Mathis is going to keep it clean and keep it in front of him for now.
Oh, RP is a little bit loose behind the two of them. Fishtailing down the backstretch, brings it back under control. That's a good save from RP. But meanwhile, window net to window net goes the 42 and the 54. The 42 of Channing Ballew. He is not giving up early as he dives it down into turn number 1. The 54 of Chris Mathis still trying to hold on to the lead. He's got to run on the high side right now. Oh, if Ballew can get a run on him as he's going to try to nuzzle up here, maybe he's going to give Mathis a little bit of room and maybe try to take a run off the draft as we're going to come back to the start-finish line, passing that Phoenix Cactus, and maybe take another run here in a lap or two as he's got to regroup and maybe not in a lap or two, but he tries to bring it here into turn number 1, Jacob.
Yeah, he's side by side with them still. I don't think he can get the pass off on the bottom side. It's not that easy to pass on the bottom. I feel like the top is more where he's going to have to go if he wants to try and pass Chris Mathis.
Now, Mathis holding his own right now in that number 54 Toyota Supra. And, at this stage in the race, you got to start to wonder, do you want to cook your tires too early? It seems like Channing Ballou is going to cook the bejesus out of these tires, as there can't be much starch left in that rubber.
Yeah, he's definitely looking like he's cooking them, and it looks like Chris Mathis is the same way. I mean, Mathis started to pull away a little bit, but then he was getting reeled back in. There is some draft to that, but it also looks like he's still able to save his tires pretty good, but it also looks like they're a little bit up in the heat temp right now.
Yeah, I mean, we can take a look right now as I go to pull the weather back up here. Looks like that track temperature back up to 100 degrees, so just about where we were during qualifying. So, things are going to start to get a little bit slick out here as we're 25 laps in, more than halfway through stage number 1. I'm Dave Riegel, he's Jacob Sala, and this is Sim Racing Media. We are going to step aside and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
Welcome back to Phoenix Raceway. The 54 of Chris Mathis and Channing Ballou in his 42 still battling it out for the lead, but we have battles all over the racetrack tonight as we've got a little four-car pack right now led by Brandon Minto. He's bringing along Case and Plot, Eugenio Alonso, and Finn Robinson in the 26 Jack Down Motorsports sponsored Chevrolet Camaro. Of course, these two Jack Down Motorsports drivers in Eugenio Alonso and Finn Robinson, they're two of the best drivers that I've seen all night long and all season long for Eugenio Alonso, as I got to be, fender to fender with him last night, and it was quite an interesting evening. But Dave Regal here alongside Jacob Sala in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth, bringing you live a lot cleaner Xfinity Series Monday Night NASCAR action here on YouTube.com and, of course, over on Facebook. Glad to have everybody with us. We've got this battle for first starting to cool off a little bit as Baloo now losing off a little bit of time here, just about 0.3 of a second, Jake.
Yeah, these lap cars are playing into fruition for the 42. I think these lap cars were definitely not helping him there, had him lose time. But now he's going to get back to him about 0.3 tenths back from Chris Mathis. So he's catching him a little bit, but those lap cars didn't help for sure.
Yeah, you get to that point, and it's almost like you'd rather be in second position and use that lap car as more of a pick because, you can see where that lap car is lining themselves up as you decide to dive it in there or even to try to pass on the high side. And, so often last night we started seeing, more passing on the outside of turn number 1, but on the inside of turn 3. So definitely an interesting balance here at Phoenix as we're on lap number 36 of 200, working our way toward 45. And at the conclusion of lap 45, we'll have that competition caution, just in case we didn't have enough cautions already tonight. Running back through our standings now, Bob Nestor in the number 63 Relative Properties Toyota Supra. He's running in 15th position right now, up 1 from where he had began. But our big story for movement of the night going to belong to Matt White in that Nitro Chevrolet Camaro. And, Jacob, if you look at the 48 here, that paint scheme kind of looks familiar. Jake having a little bit of a connection issue. There you are.
Yeah, it looks kind of to me, I'm a Kevin Harvick fan. It almost looks like a Kevin Harvick car. I'm not quite sure what he's going after there, but yeah, it looks really nice. And he's moving up the field really well.
You might want to check the hide car numbers box in your iRacing and refresh your paints, because that to me looks like six-time champion Jimmy Johnson paint scheme there. It looks like that last Lowe's paint scheme he had run. So you may be a little off there for the 48. But, such as life goes here in sim racing world, because, unfortunately, it's not like in real life where once you put those decals on the car, that's it. Where we've got so many options on sim racing, that literally one box being checked or unchecked in your settings can make all the difference. Just as we see that, Matt White now stealing away 12th position from Gabriel Lafreniere in the Oxymore 06 Chevrolet. Pretty nice mix of manufacturers atop the pile with Chris Mathis and his Toyota leading the pack. He's getting ready here, to put Jeff Carson down another lap here as he's chasing him and the 50. And driven by Ron Fitting. That'll put Ron Fitting in the lucky dog position once Mathis and Baloo get around him. But right now, Jeff Carson doing his best just to hold him back. Maybe hold him off a little bit, Jake.
Yeah, he's holding him off really good. Again, the bottom not able, making passes hard. Baloo's got the lead here now. He looks like he was able to finally get around Chris Mathis, and he's going to drive off. He used the 50 car as a pick as well. So, that's going to help him get around the 54 here side by side. And he almost wrecked the 54 there, but that was able to help the 42 get to him and get by him.
The 42 now working his way around the top side of Jeff Carson, just as I had said that earlier, passing on the high side in turn 1 and 2. And now Carson getting the run on the low side of turns 3 and 4. Looks like that's going to be able to put a little bit of distance between Mathis and Baloo here atop the pile. That's the story right there. But then we take a look back here at Ron Fitting, who is still causing havoc for some of these other drivers. who are on the lead lap as he's out here just logging laps. It looks like he may have burned up his equipment early tonight as he's up 6 positions right now, running in 25th. But again, Matt White up, let's see now, 20 positions, running in 12th. We see him getting past the 80, driven by Dan Morgan. Of course, looks like Dan was involved in one of our earlier cautions of the evening. Kind of a modified look, if you ask me. Let's see if we can zoom in on him just a little bit here. As I'll tell you what, that Black Bullet Chevrolet Camaro has seen better days, Jake.
Yeah, a lot of damage on that thing. Definitely not going to help for sure. Not enough straightaway speed, not enough corner speed. So it's going to hurt him a lot more here. But he's out here logging laps, trying to get points where he can.
And we're under caution here at the end of stage number 1 as Channing Ballou going to take home the green and white checkered flag for stage 1. He's followed by Chris Mathis, R.P. Allen, Logan Truitt, Bennett Allen, Kason Plott, Eugenio Alonso, Finn Robinson, Brandon Minto, and Aaron Mack. That will round out your top 10, and those top 10 drivers will be awarded bonus points here. So, of course, that bonus point structure is very simple. First place gets 10 points. Second place gets 9, and so on, down to 1 point for 10th position. So those bonus points, they can absolutely come into play as we get later on into the season, closer to the playoffs. And obviously now we are about to see some wholesale pit stops as Channing Ballou leads the field. Looks like Ballou, Mathis, Allen, Truitt, Allen, Plott, Alonso, Robinson, all the way down here to John Crow Sr., Bob Nestor, Sean Kelly. So a big night for a lot of these drivers. And folks, if you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications over on youtube.com for Sim Racing Media. And of course, give us a thumbs up here for the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, sponsored by A Lot Cleaner. And, right now we've got a pretty good head count so far with 83 total viewers, 26 watching us right now. And we want to get that number up over 100 before the end of stage number 2. So, folks, call your friends, tell everybody, get on here and take a look at some of these drivers out here logging laps as Channing Ballou beats the field off of pit road. He's going to lead Chris Mathis, Bennett Allen, R.P. Allen, Logan Truitt, Eugenio Alonso, Finn Robinson, Brandon Minto, Kason Plott, and Aaron Mack, your top 10.
And now I want to see, Dave, I want to see how Channing Ballou is able to restart this race, because we haven't seen him restart all night. Now I want to see, can he restart this race? Can he start to pull away from Mathis? Can he save his tires where Mathis wasn't able to keep that lead?
Without a doubt, and we'll see if I can quick find him here in our Discord. Let's see here, Channing Ballou. And he is not in Discord. This happened to me last week, and, every time I was looking for somebody in Discord areas, Speed Clinic Racing. Let's see if we can get Channing Ballou here into the broadcast booth. Channing Ballou, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, congrats here on the Stage 1 win. What are you feeling as we get ready to head for Stage 2?
We're going to have to pass a lot of cars. Evidently, I went too low on pit road, and I didn't know where my stall was, so come from the back. Now it's going to be difficult.
Well, here's the deal. You're going to be starting, up here on the lead lap, or at least from the lead. You've got another, let's see, about 40 laps to go. How are those tires feeling at the end of the stage?
They were feeling all right. It's extremely hard to pass here with all lanes being viable. You can make the top, bottom, middle work, and so we were a little snug there, but I'd rather be snug right now than free. But this should be a big challenge here to come from the back.
Well, you know what? Something that I learned last night in the Cup Series, sometimes it's better to just hang back and let people make their mistakes. It kind of lessens the traffic in front of you. And just as you get ready to go back to green flag racing, we just want to wish you luck, and we'll see you on the other side, brother.
Thank you, man. Shout out to everybody watching.
And everybody is definitely watching tonight as we're going to send Channing back up to his... Let's see, here we go. Send him back up to his team chat there. But, oddly enough, it's a shame when you see somebody come home bringing that green and white checkered flag, and then all of a sudden things change so drastically, Jake.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. We are going to get the green flag here, but he's going to have to fight all the way back there, which is not a good thing for him. I mean, like I said, I want to see how he's going to restart, and sadly, we're not going to get to see it.
That's true, but we've got a lot of door-handle-to-door handle racing, as it looks like the 95 of John Crow Sr. going to be tucked here in the middle. That was pretty close, as now they've sorted themselves out with the 41 of Doug Arterbright. Arterbright holding the low side. Looks like he's going to be toying with Andrew T. Jones in the 94. Not sure who that was that suddenly decided they wanted to go all the way down to the dog leg. Are you a stay on the racing surface or take the dog leg kind of driver, Jake?
I definitely take the dog leg. I try to use the dog leg as much as I can. It definitely helps get an advantage, especially when you're leading.
Well, speaking of which, we're going to take a look right now just at the inside here on the gyro cam of the 54, actually of the 7 we're going to go. Here in RP Allen's car, we'll pull up the gyro. Once he comes out of the last turn here, out of 4, we're going to see a pretty big deal. As we're going to see him probably drop down here. Watch the amount of upset that this car gets coming through the dog leg. I mean, that can be violent. We'll see if we can find somebody who's taking it maybe a little bit harder this time. As I know Matt White is usually a pretty skilled driver here. We're going to ride along right with Stewartville, Minnesota native Matt White. As he dives it down into turn 3, he's going to drift up. We're going to see him. Whoa, he gets a little loose. Now watch for when he transfers back onto the racing surface. This is a big transfer. Wow.
Yeah, and Matt White, I mean, that dog leg, there's bumps in the dog leg, so hitting those bumps upsets the car, and, it gets it loose. And some of these drivers just have to make sure they correct it. Even if they correct it, they have to make sure they correct it the right way. If they correct it the wrong way, they might go spinning in front of someone, and we are not going to see many happy drivers if that happens.
No, and just as you say that, I did just happen to see Finn Robinson here in the 26. We're going to take a closer look here at him. We're going to see one of those bumps right here as he rolls through the Geico restart zone, gets ready to take that, and watch for the bumps here. And just right there. I mean, just as he's crossing those seams there, I mean, and those seams are nothing but tar that they use to repair some cracks. I mean, those are pretty violent.
Yeah, there's some big bumps there that you have to really consider when you're racing. I know this isn't real life and bumps don't really damage the cars here, but I mean, it's still something you have to think about while you're racing. Make sure that you hit them right and don't get loose or get into somebody or all that stuff.
Absolutely, and I see here Justin Kelly cheering on the number 38. So, Justin Kelly, welcome into the YouTube live chat. Wow! RP Allen getting one heck of a run at the rear bumper of the 54. Almost looked like some of my night last night in the Cup Series as I was doing a little tap dancing around the 95 of John Crow Sr., who's out here right now running in 14th position. And sometimes you just get a run, toward the rear bumper, and you don't want to get on the binders that tight because you don't want to have to roll out again and burn the heck out of your rear tires. But right now it looks like RP Allen getting the run going into turns 1 and 2. We're going to watch this once again as he's going to be drafting up behind Chris Mathis. And he's just going to get a run here, of course. And this time he makes me look like a clown, and we're at lap number 60, and we are under caution. Let's see what happened. Looks like maybe Case and Plot was involved in this incident. Something we don't see too often here. Case and Plot in the number 61 Valvoline Chevrolet. He's right there above Eugenio Alonso and just behind the 15. And he makes contact with Eugenio. Eugenio holds it together. Oh, that's a lot of work. Oh, I hope I didn't just jinx Eugenio. Run this back here and take a look at where Eugenio just wound up. He gets that little kiss on the right rear. And, Eugenio getting very lucky.
Yeah, Eugenio got lucky. He was able to save it and not hit the wall. The unfortunate break for, I believe that was Finn Robinson in the 26. He was not able to make it through that without getting hit pretty good.
Some interesting pit strategy now, as it looks like our race leader, Chris Mathis, has decided to come down pit road. Maybe to get some fresh tires. Looks like he's getting some on the right and some on the left. So he's going to get 4 tires and a tank of Go Fast here for the next 30 laps. Well, about the next 28 laps before we go back to the end of stage number 2. Looks like we're going to be restarting with Bennett Allen atop the pile. RP Allen atop the pile. His brother Bennett in the 15, just behind him in that JCTV Chevrolet. Logan Truitt, Brandon Minto, Dylan Ackert, Aaron Mack, Matt White now up 25 positions, Jake.
Yeah, Matt White has been moving through the field. He started in 32nd, and he didn't qualify and is in 8th. He's been making a quick run of this field and has been looking fast. He might at some point challenge for the lead.
That's something I certainly wouldn't doubt. Matt White, a continual, a perennial, contender for every lead that we have. RP Allen suddenly coming back up here. I'd like to find where Chris Mathis went. He's back in 16th position. Let's see if we can find him in Discord. As he is from Speed Clinic Racing. Hey, Chris Mathis, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you. What's up, man?
What are you doing back here?
Oh, I'm picking dandelions and blowing roses.
All right. I mean, listen, all of a sudden you go from the lead to back here in 16th position. Is this a maneuver here for some fresh tires and have to drive through traffic?
I made some adjustments right there on that last stop, and I really didn't like the way it was going, and it was just going to get worse the longer I was out there, so better to fix it now while there's a caution.
Well, you make a good point. Obviously, a veteran decision right there. I mean, 63 laps, you've still got more than half of this race to go. What are you thinking as you've got 26 laps now to the end of stage 2?
I might be able to get up there to the top 5-ish, hopefully, if I'm lucky. But I'm ready for some sun to come out. It looks like a thunderstorm out here.
Well, you never know. That kind of thing can happen there in Phoenix. Right now, your track temperature 99, so it's cooling off again. So some clouds definitely affecting what's going on out there on the racetrack. So good luck to you, sir, and maybe we'll get a chance to talk to you here at the end of stage 2.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, man. We're going to send you on back up here to Speed Clinic Racing. Of course, a long-time leader of this race, Chris Mathis is. So as we get ready to go back green, Jake, this kind of changes things.
Oh, yeah. Now RP Allen has a chance to benefit from this and get some stage points that he probably wouldn't have if Chris Mathis did not pit.
Well, we'll see what happens as they hit the Geico restart zone. The green flag waves. We're back underway. That cactus is all nice and green. And, folks, we're going to step aside and let you guys turn it up at home and enjoy the sound of this race.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling. With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
Welcome back to Phoenix Raceway. Dave Regal and Jacob Sala here in the SRM broadcast booth. We're on lap 83 of 200, working our way toward lap number 90 for the conclusion of stage number 2. RP Allen with a commanding lead right now over Logan Truitt, just about 1.5 seconds and then some, separating first and second positions. Our closest battle right now, Matt White, who is on a mission tonight, Jake, where he is currently up 28 positions running in fourth place.
Yeah, he's definitely putting that paint scheme to light. He's running that Jimmy Johnson scheme. He's running like Jimmy Johnson. Fourth right now, he's hauling.
Yeah, the mail will definitely not be delayed today, as looks like he is hauling the mail, that's for sure. Channing Ballou right now back up to fifth position after he had a kind of rough conclusion to stage number 1. He's fought through traffic and gotten all the way back up here into the top 5. But a few moments ago, we saw the 54 catching a tough break. In fact, trying to look for him here. And, of course, sometimes my eyes absolutely fail me as I'm looking for the 54. And I don't see him. Go figure. What in the world?
Seems like
There he
he's
is.
hitting
Here
the
in
back
ninth
straight.
position. There we go. But the 54 catching some wall a few moments ago. Sorry for the delay, folks. Sometimes I swear, it's like my eyes suddenly block out what I'm looking for. It's almost like you're trying to find that jar of peanut butter in the cabinet, and it's right there in front of you. And thank God for our women in our lives who are just staring at us, saying, no, it's right there in front of you. Just remember, behind every great man, there's a woman standing behind him, shaking her head in disapproval.
Yeah, it sounds about right, but seems like RP Allen is taking this stage here pretty nice. It looks like he might just win the stage in general. Matt White still in fourth, looking to make some dues and catch third place Bennett Allen. Not too far behind Bennett.
No, taking a look at Brandon Minto here in the 12 upside Ford Mustang. He's in 8th position, down 2 from where he had been. But right now, closest battle on the racetrack happens to be right there. And just slightly closer is the battle for 16th position right here is Bob Nestor chasing down Sean Kelly in the 38. Only a couple more laps here in stage number 2. So Bob trying to get all the position that he can as he takes it all the way up just about to the cactus. We see Bob not being one of those drivers who's taking the apron through the dog leg. And I got to be honest, Jake, we've been talking about it, earlier this evening, and it just seems like that's not a smart idea to upset the car like that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think going down to the bumps is smart for the car, but I don't think these cars take that much damage to where it would hurt the car internally. I don't think iRacing has that much invested in their damage system. Last lap of the stage here, RP Allen still leading. Truett across the start-finish line. RP Allen will take the stage. Truett second, Allen third, Matt White fourth, Channing Ballou in fifth.
Absolutely. And then rounding out the top 10, Dylan Ackart, Aaron Mack, Chris Mathis, Brandon Minto, and our neighbor from the north, Gabriel Lafreniere. We're going to try to get a hold of RP Allen real quick here as he is up here in the Money House Racing team chat. We'll see where he's at here. Hey, RP, it's Dave Regal up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Hey, man, here you are. Congratulations on that Stage 2 win. How are you feeling there in the car? Obviously, everything hooked up for you.
It's all right. I'm glad I stayed out on the stage break or the caution because I was able to keep clean air and go. But yeah, I still need to make a few more adjustments to make sure I keep my lead. But so far, so good.
You kind of remind me of Coach Nick Saban from Alabama down there in Tuscaloosa. I mean, you're the only person I know that can take a stage win here and think, nah, it's just not perfect yet. And you've still got improvements to make as you come down pit road.
Yeah, I mean, you always can improve. I'm still not the best I can be, so improvement is key.
As we're going to watch you come through here, we will keep it quiet, and you will get your pit service. Obviously, 4 tires and a tank of Go Fast there. So good luck in Stage 3, brother.
Thank you.
As we see RP Allen getting in here and getting pit service, we'll get him back up into the Money House Racing live chat here. There he goes. But getting full service on the number 7, that'll roll him off of pit road first. He'll lead the pack. Jake, that was quite a Stage 2 as we saw a lot of shuffling around.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys who weren't up here at the start. Definitely getting up here, getting their name out there. Mathis is back up to 5th at the moment. I know I just saw Logan Truett lost a lot of spots on pit road there.
Yeah, we'll see if we can find Logan, and maybe I didn't see any damage on the car, but maybe he just had some additional things to take care of. Let's see if Logan is out here in the KRM Motorsports chat. Hey, Logan, Dave, and Jake up here in the SRM broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
Hey, what went on there in that last pit stop? You seemed to slide back pretty far.
I got caught speeding on exit, so that kind of sucks.
Well, here's the thing. You're down 8 spots. You've got some time, but as you get down here to serve that penalty once we go green, that should be, end of the line?
Yeah, drop to the end.
It's not a bad thing, especially, in a situation like this with the cold tires. How are you feeling so far in that number 20 Mustang?
It tends to be a little bit loose on the beginning of the run, but I feel like it's really dialed in as we get going.
Yeah, I mean, when you're sitting there, way back where you are right now, it's okay to feel dialed in because at least that way you're confident in the fact that you've got the equipment to make it up front. But going here into stage number 3, you're going to have just over 100 laps to go. What are you thinking as far as strategy?
We have an extra set of tires from not pitting in that second stage, so I think we have a whole bunch of strategies we can go through. But I hope that we get through that full fuel run at least before thinking about an extra strategy.
Absolutely, and just as you say that now, that you've got that extra set of tires in your back pocket, so good luck going into stage 3.
Thanks.
Logan Truitt, who just told us that he had to serve that penalty, Jake. That's definitely no way to end a stage.
Yeah, he definitely hurt himself there. He was up to P2, and yeah, he's all the way down to P12.
Well, and as we get ready to go back, green flag racing, the iRacing.com pace car dives down pit road. R.P. Allen and Bennett Allen, the Allen brothers up here on the front row. Matt White, Channing Balloon, Dylan Ackard, Aaron Mack, Brandon Minto, Gabriel Lafreniere, Eugenio Alonso, and Kyle Ryan round out your top 10. R.P. Allen with his foot hovering just above that loud pedal there on the right-hand side. He comes out of turn 4, and just right now he enters the Geico restart zone. The man in the stand has the green flag in his hand. It waves and we're racing.
R.P. Allen into turn 2, down the back straightaway. He's going to have the lead get a little loose there as we see Matt White going for second position with Bennett Allen side by side into turn 4. And he looks like he's not going to get it. Bennett Allen's going to keep second, but Matt White is charging.
And charging he is, as maybe the Lowe's paint scheme isn't that apropos here, and maybe he should have painted it brown like Dale Jarrett back in the day and make that speedy delivery, if you will. As he rolls out of 2 down the backstretch, he's door to door with Channing Baloo, and Baloo getting the pitchfork out early here, as that's going to bring out Matt White's torch, and they're going to be going at it pretty hot and heavy here, at least for the next couple of laps.
Baloo side by side. Looks like he got around him, and now Baloo's going to be charging for Bennett Allen. And Baloo, he started from the back. If you remember, he started in the back, had the pit, all that good stuff. He's charging back to the front.
And charge he is, as he is nestled right up against the rear bumper of Bennett Allen. He gets the run through the dogleg. He doesn't get the momentum that he needs as he kind of backs out of it early, but he still has just enough to get around Bennett, and he splits the Allen brothers in half. However, we've talked about it before. All that battling behind RP did nothing but give him an advantage to hit his marks and start logging laps, as he's now opened up a 1.17 second lead over Baloo and brother Bennett.
Yeah, and it looked like Bennett would look like you just gave him the spot there, and he knew that the 42 was way faster, so he just gave him the spot and let him go. These guys are doing a really good job of that at this point in the run, keeping it clean, not getting into any incidents. But R.P. Allen, a 1.2 second gap now, just hitting his marks, keeping it calm, and making sure he doesn't make any mistakes to where Channing Baloo can capitalize.
Deeper back in the pack, Bob Nestor starting to turn up the heat a little bit. Right here on Doug Argerbright in the 41, we can see the 63 taking the inside line here away from the 41 of Doug Argerbright. Argerbright going to get the run out of 2, as we've seen so often tonight, but Nestor not phased whatsoever, as he's going to dive down into 3. maybe have to give up a position here to Logan Truitt that we had just spoken with. Is Truitt going to cross his rear bumper, get down into the dogleg, just getting that momentum away from Nestor, as Nestor has not been taking that dogleg this evening. Of course, Bob Nestor, the 2021 SNN Truck Series. Wow, a little bit of a wall rub there from Andrew T. Jones, but Bob Nestor, the 2021 Truck Series champion right here from Lansdale, Pennsylvania, in the number 63 Relative Properties Toyota Supra, and it says right there on his rear bumper, game over. And I got to believe that at the end of this race, we're going to see him much higher than 13th position, as he's kind of like a lion in the middle of the African, desert there, just waiting in the weeds for that gazelle to make a mistake.
And we see him side by side with Logan Truitt, and you're going to notice Truitt's going to take the dog leg there to get by, and Truitt's going to get that spot, maybe? No, still going to be side by side. Bob Nestor doing a good job holding him off. Now Truitt gets the spot.
Absolutely. We see right now Gabriel Lafreniere running in 9th position. So the top 10 pretty much all single file as they're getting ready to pick one another off once these tires start to give way a little bit here on lap 105. We're past the halfway point, beyond the century mark. And now it's all downhill from here, Jake, as R.P. Allen opening up a 1 1/4 second lead over Channing Ballou, with Matt White running in 3rd position. We've got Bennett Allen back here just about 3.3 seconds behind his brother, who's leading this piece. But still a lot of racing to go with about 94 laps.
Yeah, and these guys, anything can happen. Like you said, 94 laps to go. The track temp getting cooler now. These guys are going to start getting grip, and anything can happen.
Yeah, in fact, speaking of that cooler track temp, we're going to keep pulling this up because it's something that I feel is worth showing. That's for darn sure. As right now, as we pull up the weather, track temperature now cooled off to 92 as the clouds have moved in and taken over this racetrack. So grip definitely going to become a factor here. You know, in Phoenix Raceway, this is not the original configuration. This has actually gone through a couple of reconfigurations, Jake. And, of course, right now, the back stretch is where the front stretch used to be and vice versa. So kind of interesting that the front stretch doesn't get a view of pit road, unlike so many other racetracks that we go to.
Yeah, and I think that the changes is what screw a lot of people up and mess a lot of people up when racing at this track, because turn 3 used to be turn 1 and 2, and turn 1 and 2 used to be turn 3 and 4, and then it gets all mixed up in there.
Well, and to someone who's well versed in this track, that can be confusing. But now to someone like me who's still relatively new to racing at Phoenix, to me it just feels normal. But I can only imagine that for some of the drivers, that can be awful confusing. I know occasionally here on the iRacing.com service, they'll run the 87 cars at Legacy Phoenix, and that, I'll tell you what, that does kind of play with your head a little bit.
Yeah, I've been on the service for a long time, since 2014, and running Phoenix, it always was turn 1 and 2 is where, turn 1 and 2 is the normal 1 and 2, where 3 and 4 is now, and then 1 and 2 is where 3 and 4 is. But anyway, the track configurations are definitely tougher to learn internally now than they were back then, for sure.
Absolutely, and Eugenio Alonso just worked his way past Brandon Minto here in the number 12 Upside Ford Mustang, and suddenly he decides to put the 66 of Dylan Ackart in his crosshairs. So the Jackdown Motorsports stable nice and strong here atop the pile. Taking a look here around the track, we see, of course, from Jackdown Motorsports, Eugenio Alonso. In the 26 machine we did have, there he is, Finn Robinson at the other end of the spectrum. He's back here in 24th alongside Jeff Carson, who's down a couple of laps now. Jeff looking like he's down 2, driving Kind of a modified car right here in the Micro Center, number 9 Toyota Supra out of the Joe Gibbs Racing stable. Right now he's let's see here. He's the fourth. He's the last car out of the Joe Gibbs Racing stable in line tonight, as it looks like Bob Nestor running right now in 15th position, Chris Claude running in 23rd, Lauren Jones in 25th, and then Jeff Carson rounding out those 4 cars from Joe Gibbs Racing. And of course, Chris Claude, a great leader. He kind of brought me into this league. You know, I answered a post that was on iRacing that was looking for guys for a truck league. I got into the truck league, worked my way into the Xfinity League and the Cup Series, and the rest is kind of history. As I got to be honest, Jake, I don't get near as much seat time in my racing rig as I do here in the broadcast booth at this point.
Right, and Chris Claude, he brought me. Actually, I was invited by my friend Kyle Ryan from Kyle Ryan Motorsports into the league, and then I talked to Chris Claude, got everything set up. Chris seems like a cool guy. I've never actually talked to him, but he seems like he's a nice guy, and definitely someone to watch out for on race days.
Yeah, Chris, I've nicknamed affectionately enough Mr. Consistency. He is more regular than a senior citizen taking Metamucil. He is out here hitting his marks night after night. And I mean, look, he's in 23rd right now. I would still be willing to bet that before the end of this piece, he's in 17th or 18th position. You know, it may not be pretty, but at the end of the day, he sees every lap, finishes on the lead lap, and, takes advantage of people who make mistakes. Oh, and just as I say, make mistakes, he gets that rear end kicked out a little bit at the start-finish line. But, yeah, Chris Claude, more regular than a senior citizen on Metamucil. You heard it here first on Sim Racing Media.
Jeff Carson got a little loose down the front stretch there on the apron, was able to save it and get it back going.
We'll take a look back and see, since we've got a moment here. Oh, I do see this. This will be interesting, folks. Take a look right here at the 9 in the middle of your screen. And just as he comes out of 4, that rear end going to step out on him, dragging him down through the dog leg. But fortunately, no harm, no foul. He stays pointed forward. So I can see where that can get awful confusing and awful scary real fast.
Yeah, I'm surprised he was able to save that thing.
I'm not, you know what? Listen, I've raced now for 2 seasons with Jeff, and I'm not surprised. He's a guy that can really hang on to it, and the tough thing about Jeff is that he spends so much time building his setups. I know that he works for a setup shop, and, he gets very frustrated when something stupid happens to him, because it's like, hey, whoa, what a mess. Oh. Speaking of a Code Brown moment brought to you by Depends, that was a near disaster for Logan Truitt and Brandon Minto. But Jeff is one of those drivers where he gets frustrated, after you spend so much time building a setup only to have it destroyed by some, nitwit out here on track.
And going to the front here, RP Allen is getting caught. Remember just earlier that gap was about 1.2, 1.3? It's about 0.6 now. Channing Ballou is catching RP Allen.
Let's take a look at Channing Ballou here. We'll see if this is more of a matter of maybe he's able to save his equipment since, he wasn't out here trying to run hot laps. One thing I'll always say about RP is that Preston has this ability to feel like he's out here running hot laps. And, there are times where that will come back and bite you.
Yeah, especially while running hot laps. I mean, you can run hot laps all you want and get the position, but you got to really save the tires in a long race like this. We have, like you said earlier, 100%. Caution flag is out here. Couldn't see what it was for.
Well, going to take a look here at Sean Kelly. Once my cursor comes back live, there we are. Looks like Sean Kelly may have been, oh yeah. Let's see what's going to happen here with Sean Kelly. Here in the SKK. SKRM, sorry, machine. He comes through the dogleg, flies back up the track, gets right in front of John Crow Sr. Crow kind of crossing him up here. And wow. Oh, right into the 07 too. Let's take another look at that from a different angle, that's for sure. And we'll see if we can do this from the chopper, or at least from the blimp. And we see the 38, the 39 coming, 38 coming in here. Oh, 38 and the 95 just meeting together. The 95 dances away. And we'll take a look right from the cockpit of the 95 now. We wait to get that cockpit cam up here. Any day. There it is. Just a case of the 95 getting tight. You know, we can see it right here, Jake. If you look going out of turn 2, you know, between 1 and 2, we can see John Crow's hands cocked left. He's definitely not trying to drift up into the 38. And it was just enough where he tightened up and got into the side of it.
Yeah, he looked really tight there. I mean, there's just wrong place, wrong time for the 38, and Crow got tight. The 38 was trying to turn down, and it just was, they met in the middle, and 38 was around.
Well, that kind of does things a little bit differently. Just as Channing Ballou was catching up to RP Allen, now he doesn't have a choice but to be caught up to RP Allen here with 75 to go at Phoenix Raceway. Dave Regal and Jacob Sala here in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth. You're watching the A Lot Cleaner Xfinity Series live here on Sim Racing Media. If you haven't done so yet, ask yourself, why haven't you subscribed to Sim Racing Media? Why haven't you given us a thumbs up? And to be honest, if you like what you see, make sure that you give us a thumbs up. And as the great Tony Trapasso would say, if you don't like what you see, make sure that you hit that dislike button twice and get on out of there. Because we are all about positivity and building this network here and building these relationships with these drivers and their friends and family. As Evelina Howard, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Evelina Howard out here cheering on Chris Custer. Chris back here in 26th position had a rough night tonight as he's in that Toyota Supra there, that red and black machine right in the middle of your screen. Chris down about 6 laps now, Jake, but we're starting to get into that witching hour where we're going to see guys maybe turn things up a notch.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of battles here. So, I mean, hey, Chris might be able to get those laps back if we have a lot of cautions here with these guys. Going to start seeing them get aggressive.
Well, and if last night's Cup Race Caution Festival was any inclination or indication, he might get those 6 laps back. You never know. But the story goes, RP Allen hits the loud pedal just as we're coming into the Geico restart zone. He's going to bring Channing Ballou along with him on the outside. But RP with the start, a good jump over Matt White, who's now up 30 positions, and he can only gain 1 more, and that's the lead. As Matt White forces Channing Ballou tight here into 1, trying to score himself that P2 timing slot. Right now we're still door handle to door handle racing, several rows back in this one, all the way back to Dylan Ackart and Brad Gunn. Looks like Case and Plot here in the 61 machine. He's going to be taking the dog leg yet again. He doesn't get down as low as some drivers do, but obviously it's enough to get that Chevrolet Camaro wound up to go into turn number 1, Jay.
Oh, and we got a spin. It looks like the 86 of Eugenio Alonso. Caution flag.
Eugenio Alonso spinning helplessly. Let's take a look and see what happened. We see Eugenio catching some wall on the outside there at the start-finish line. And just as he swings to set himself for turn one, waiting to see that rear end. There it is. The rear end steps out, and he slides, wow, pirouettes almost. Oh! In front of Lafreniere, and I didn't see who that was that just plowed into the side of him. But whoever it was, I can all but guarantee they are not happy with what just happened there, as we're going to look for it, I believe.
Looks like it was Doug Argabright that got into the side of him there.
That's about par for the course. Definitely not intentional by any stretch. I guess he just ran out of places to go. So, folks, while they pace, we're going to pay some bills here on Sim. Actually, no. You know what? We're going to stay right here, and we're going to get ourselves all set up for a Turn It Up segment. As it looks like the 61 of Kaysen Plott decides that he's going to tow and get off the track. Hope everything's okay with Kaysen. RP Allen going to be followed by Channing Ballou, Matt White, Bennett Allen, Logan Truitt, Gabriel Lafreniere, Brandon Minto, Kyle Ryan, Aaron Mack, and Bob Nestor. And look at that. Just like that, Bob Nestor in the top 10. What do you think, Jake?
Yeah, he's been fast. Like you said earlier, you know, you might see him sneak into the top 10. Honestly, he's looking really fast. He could sneak into the top 5. He's been doing really well, executing, hitting his marks, making sure he doesn't get in these wrecks, and keeping his car as clean as he can, while also making sure that he's getting the points that he needs and the speed that he needs.
Without a doubt. And RP Allen going to be following the iRacing.com pace car. Looks like he's going to set himself up here as the pace car keeping its lights on. So kind of an interesting decision, but Jake, glad to have you with me tonight here in the broadcast booth. What do you think here of your first Xfinity race from the booth?
It's been not too bad. There's been some cautions, but I mean, that's going to happen. That's racing, right? Cautions happen. These guys are doing really well, just making sure it doesn't consistently happen. The start was kind of rough, but hey, it happens. Been really well, running clean, and it's been great fun, for sure.
Well, you know, we talk about it, you know, pretty often, usually in our Discords during the race itself, you know, where sometimes at the beginning of these races, you get some of the drivers that are less experienced, and unfortunately, those drivers are usually the ones that that wind up paying the price for, you know, maybe qualifying well and then getting shoved and shuffled out of the way. Sorry, my mouth tried to say two words at once, and it didn't come out even close to what I wanted. As the iRacing.com pace car lights go out, that means that RP Allen going to be your new pace car here on the inside of row number 1, the iRacing.com pace car leading this field here into turn number 1. And of course, as we've mentioned so many times, this is kind of a different area, or kind of a different setup, if you will, for how we go ahead and get restarted here because of how long pit road is.
Yeah, with pit road, you got to field a lot of cars, so it's got to be a lot longer. So, and especially with the start-finish line being in the middle of a corner, that also helps the restart zone be a little bit longer too.
And we get back underway here, and folks, we're going to turn it up.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling. With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
Welcome back to Phoenix Raceway. Dave Regal and Jacob Sala with you here in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth. You're watching the A Lot Cleaner Xfinity Series live on YouTube.com. Thank you to everyone who has made us a part of your evening, as more than 100 of you have tuned in tonight. Glad to have all of you with us. Make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications to Sim Racing Media. Right now, your race leader is R.P. Allen up here in the number 7 Microsoft Toyota Supra, and he hasn't been down pit road since lap 123, and I'm starting to think someone's got to blink eventually here, as we've now got about 46 laps to the end, so they'll be able to make it on fuel. And now the question is, how many tires do you have saved up in that back pocket, Jake?
Right. Saving tires in that back pocket is going to be the best thing for these drivers. I mean, you can see it. R.P. Allen's getting loose, and Channing Ballou's getting loose. With these tires going on and on, they're going to get more heat into them, and they're going to keep getting looser until eventually the tires just go. So having a back pocket set of tires is going to be really nice for some of these drivers.
Right, and as we've been watching all night long, especially here at a place like Phoenix, we're always watching that track temperature. Track temperature right now down to 92 degrees, as basically the clouds have moved in here, but no rain yet in the forecast. You'll have to excuse me there. Suddenly a hiccup. Nothing like a little hiccup here, as Bob Nestor leading John Crow Sr., but John Crow looking to the inside of Nestor. And I got to be honest, after my long night with John Crow last night in the Cup Series, if I was Nestor, I'd give him plenty of room, as Crow is definitely a very aggressive driver when he knows that car is dialed in. And, Jake, we talk about cars being dialed in, guys making adjustments, so on and so forth, especially in-race adjustments. Do you feel like once that car is, hooked up exactly the way that you want it, that maybe you drive almost too aggressively?
Yeah, if the car's dialed in the way I want it, if it's sitting the way I want it to be, tight or loose or set up just perfect, I'm going to start being more aggressive, because I know that I can get up to that lead. I know the car is really fast. I know that my setup is fast, so I want to try and get to the lead, and I'm going to push it more just because I know my car is perfect.
Absolutely, and speaking of perfect, there's not too many cars out here without damage on it, but R.P. Allen is one of them, as he's getting ready to, looks like maybe put Tony Burt down another lap, as we can see Tony running away from him, and once again loses the 42. The 42 brings himself, gets that car corralled back in line, and we do want to talk about what's coming up here on Sim Racing Media in the SNN family of racing series. The Truck Series is going to be off tomorrow night, the Jack Dow Motorsports Truck Series. Once again, not going to be racing tomorrow night, as it's an off week for trucks. But the Cup Series will be live here on YouTube.com with my good friend Tony Trapasso and Matt Metler at 7:30 p.m. Sunday night. The SNN Cup Series is going to be down in Hotlanta for the Ambetter Health 400. And, I got to be honest, I'm kind of sad that I'm missing that race this coming week, as Atlanta, the way that it's been reconfigured and paved, is almost like a mini Daytona.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know. For me, I don't really like the Atlanta repave, because I don't like it being a super speedway. But for those that do, it's a pretty fun track.
Yeah, it's more like the brainchild of someone who said, let's see if we can hold these things wide open anymore.
Right. I mean, it's pretty much a super speedway now. I mean, it's not like, oh, it is or it isn't. It is a super speedway. So it makes things more interesting, something that you aren't seeing in Atlanta back in 2000 and through that era. So it makes it more fun, but also it's just like, I don't know if I really like it, because I also like the way the old Atlanta raced as well.
Old Atlanta was definitely a lot of fun. And, some of these racetracks will, they'll gain their own character, if you will, over time, once we beat that asphalt to a bloody pulp. But, especially when you get to go to one of those old tracks like Darlington or, Rockingham is still open, still an active racetrack, but still not on the NASCAR schedule. Some of the older tracks, they've got that wear in them. They've got that character. And Darlington, more of a cheese grater. But Atlanta, not even close anymore as it used to be. You had to hang on to it because of the bumps in the middle of the turns. And now it's just smooth as glass.
I hate to break it away for a second, but we got a battle for the lead. The 42 of Channing Ballew's going to take the lead away from RP Allen. Oh, RP Allen's in the wall
Allen
now.
bites the wall. There must be some kind of a problem here with the 7, as a moment ago, Channing Ballew was getting loose coming out of turn 2, and now it's all of a sudden come back to him. And, a lot of these cars, sometimes they start off the run really loose, and then, in the middle of the run, they tighten up, and then all of a sudden at the end of the run, once again, very loose, as, wow,
Wow,
a 48 just slid across the nose of the 7. Let's take a run back and see if we can see exactly what that looked like from the 7's cockpit, because let me tell you right now, that was something kind of ugly. In fact, let's see if we can pull that up right here from the cockpit on the helmet cam of RP Allen. We see RP working it out of turn 4, crossing the start-finish line. Watch just how close this was as he was forced to check up as Matt White slid back in front of him. Matt White, of course, up 30 positions now. So, obviously, he knows how to boogie around this racetrack from 32nd all the way up here now onto the podium.
Yeah, he's working it, and it looks like he just got on the apron and just didn't anticipate RP Allen to be there.
Taking a look right now, your race leader, Channing Ballou, starting to run away with a little bit of a lead here over Matt White. As Matt White now behind him by 0.8 of a second, he's going to work his way right on past the lap car here of Finn Robinson, as Finn was damaged earlier on in the evening, as he's now down 3 laps. But right now, your lucky dog would be John Bawalda in the 51 Chevrolet. Here he is back running in 18th position, down just 2 laps. So definitely a gap here. In fact, it looks like here he is down just 1 lap. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it looks like Channing Ballou is getting a lot loose through these corners. The setup is not to his liking right now, but he's still able to pull away from Matt White. So it'll be interesting to see over this run if Channing Ballou still is able to contain that gap, or if Matt White clinches back up and keeps the gap stable, takes the gap away, excuse me.
Absolutely. And as we get deeper into this piece, now it looks like Channing Ballou opening up a now just about 1 second lead over Matt White. Matt White, of course, here in the number 48 Nitro Chevrolet Camaro. He is chasing him down, but not having any luck as we are under caution. And it looks like RP Allen was involved. We'll take a look. Oh, no. We see the 7 car coming into turn 1. He rubs the wall, and just as he gets off the wall, looks like a dirt track car here, trying to keep it steady as we come down into turn 3, and just, wow, right across the 50.
I want to give props to Logan Truitt, able to make it through that wreck. There's got to be a code brown right there for Logan Truitt. He was able to get through that, though.
Taking another look at it from our eye in the sky up here in the booth, or up here in the blimp, I'm sorry. Looks like the 50 was coming up, the 7 was coming down, and boom goes the proverbial dynamite. We'll see one more if we can get to the chopper. Of course, now I'm not going to be able to find the darn thing. There it is. You see RP once again recover himself, gathers the car back together. He goes to dive it into 3 and just does so way too hard, Jake.
Yeah, he just slid right up and got into him there. And it set them both around and into the wall for RP Allen. And it looked like that setup was getting a lot loose for RP Allen. So, I mean, it sucks that happened, but at least he's able to come in and get a fresh set of tires and maybe able to make a run back through the field, depending on how the damage is for that thing.
Well, and look who just came off of pit road and now leads this piece. Matt White with Channing Ballou in P2.
I wonder if he took 2 tires. Maybe he didn't. I don't think so. But if he didn't, it was a great stop for that 48 team.
Looks like he took enough time to at least get 4 tires and a tank of Go Fast, but unfortunately I can't see exactly what service he got. But 14.6 second pit service time, maybe a touch of damage repair, as pit service time is usually about 13.5.
Probably. And, even if that, with the damage repair, I mean,
well, we'll see what happens as we get ready to rack them, stack them, and make a run for the end here, as we're just about 26 laps from the checkered flag flying. Now, as long as we can get there cleanly, we should be done lickety-split, as these lap times here ripping off at about 27 seconds, so almost faster than the Cup Series. Can you explain that?
I mean, the Cup cars are slower. They were made slower. The horsepower is definitely a lot different than the Xfinity cars. So these cars are faster than the Cup cars in a way, but slower than the trucks, actually.
Well, now that's impressive to me. Well, right now, side by side, we have Matt White and Channing Ballou, Logan Truitt, Bennett Allen, Gabriel Lafreniere, Kyle Ryan, Brad Gunn, Andrew T. Jones, John Crow Sr., and Corey Burkett. Rounding out your top 10, Matt White with control of the field. He's got his foot hovering above the loud pedal. He brings us into turn 3 and 4, drops the hammer, and we're back racing. And here they come. It looks like a complete mess back here, as we're going to take a look slightly further back. Everybody out here jockeying for position as we're now in the final stage here. 24 laps to go, and look who is up now into 11th position. What did I tell you about Chris Claude?
Yeah, Chris Claude doing good. He was P23 at a point, and he's P11. He's just mawing at these positions, just making sure that he stays in it, keeping himself contained, not getting angry with himself, just keeping it going, and he's almost in the top 10.
Last night during the Cup Series race, Chris had plenty to be mad at himself over. As he was going down onto pit road, he actually mistakenly caught one of those yellow water barrels at the entrance to pit road and really wrecked his car up, crumbled it up a little bit. But, Chris now obviously having this number 10 Dasani Water Toyota Supra all kinds of hooked up, as he obviously tightened those belts one more time with what looks to be about 22 to go.
Yeah, very impressive run, and very impressive to see him get back up through the field and get up to that spot. As Matt White has a lap. Matt White's going to lose a couple positions here. One to Logan Truitt and one to Bennett Allen. Bennett Allen's going to slide up, but he's going to get the position there. Matt White, something going on with his car. Matt White now going to take it down the back stretch, or the back stretch. And we're going to go into turn 3 out of 4. And Bennett Allen sliding saves it as we get to the start-finish line. Down into turn 1, Matt White side by side with Bennett Allen. Just looking even right now. Sliding a little bit. Bennett Allen. Oh, he almost got into Bennett Allen there. Down the back straight away. Into turn 3. And it looks like it's going to even up, and Matt White will now be 4th. Allen in 3rd, Truitt in 2nd, and Channing Ballou with a 0.6 second lead over Logan Truitt.
Yes, Ballou with that lead opening up now. It's getting even bigger as he's now beyond 0.6 of a second. Logan Truitt trying to hold off Bennett Allen, and right now that podium is separated by 1.2 total seconds as we are under caution with Andrew Jones having an incident. As I just heard on race radio, all kinds of apologies, so we'll see what happened here as we see John Crow Sr. on the high side, Andrew Jones on the low. I don't see anything yet as, RP just put him right on the end of his foot.
Yeah, RP made some distinct contact there. I mean, obviously, like you said, there's some apologies. It wasn't on purpose, so it's unfortunate for him. But, I mean, these things happen. Sometimes you get into a corner too hot and you didn't expect the car to be slower than you, and you just tap him, and there he goes, right around.
Trust me, I am someone who's of the opinion that I'm always surprised when there's a car slower than me, bud.
Well, that might be a problem.
It's fine. I'm out here to have fun. Hang with the guys a little bit here, but we're going to take one last look at this as we're going to see RP Allen just getting the run out of 2. He has the 94 in his sights and just punts him.
Yeah, he definitely, got into him there. A tough situation.
So with 18 to go, we're under caution now. That should bring around a couple of at least one wave around. Under ordinary circumstances, it would. However, everybody just came down, and I'm guessing if they aren't coming down now, that they've got their last set of tires on these machines working their way around the racetrack.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. A lot of these guys used up all their tires, and with 18 laps to go, and you got no tires left, there's really no reason to pit now, so just keep on going, and we'll see the fight that happens.
Absolutely, and with one more attempt here, we're going to step aside, pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
Back under caution here at Phoenix Raceway. Looks like Eugenio Alonso may have had himself a little bit of a bad time here, as the 86 machine was definitely involved in something here. We'll take a look. Right here in the middle of your screen, that black and red machine with those red wheels. He rolls out of 2. Looks like Jeff Carson getting a little loose coming out of 2 in that air-cooled number 9 Micro Center Toyota Supra. Oh! That is no way to go about your evening, if you ask me. In fact, let's see what the SKR 38 was up to here. We can see Sean Kelly coming down the backstretch. And Sean Kelly just dropping down in front. Wow! Dropping down in front of the 9. So that will make things interesting with now 11 to go, Jake.
And you know what's crazy as well? While that was happening, the 48 of Matt White also got loose and spun around. So now Matt White was P4 at the time, now down to P12. So a lot of things going on there.
Well, and we'll take a look back here and see if I can't make this any faster for you folks at home. There we are. We'll see the 48 here rolling out of turn 4 through the restart zone, and the rear end just snaps out from underneath him. And you know as well as I do, Jake, that is a helpless feeling if there ever was one.
Yeah, I mean, you're running 4th. You're having a good run, P32 to P4, and then it just snaps on you. And simultaneously, the caution also comes out, so that also doesn't help. Especially now, Matt White not having a set of tires to use, so those tires are going to be heated up through the rest of the run. Was able to save it and not hit the wall, though. So good on him for that, as we have about 11 laps to go, 10 to go now. These guys are going to be looking to fight for the lead. Again, top 5, Channing Ballou, Truett, Bennett Allen, Gabriel Lafreniere, and RP Allen, your top 5 right now. Top 10, 6 is Kyle Ryan, 7th John Crow, Aaron Mack 8th, Bradley Gunn 9th, and Dylan Ackart in 10th. So a lot to fight for here with these last 10 laps. It's going to be a show.
Well, and this Xfinity series, brought to you by A Lot Cleaner, never ceases to amaze me when it comes to, the closing laps of a race. I mean, more often than not, this is pretty much where the heat gets turned up to crazy. And, I said it in our show open, obviously, as we were just coming on the air, we're going to turn the heat up to broil here as the iRacing.com pace car lights have turned off. That should put us in position now. Maybe get these last 8 laps complete here. When we come back, green flag racing. Pace car lights are off. He'll get ready to dive on down pit road. We can see Channing Ballou here on the inside, choosing the inside line, with Logan Truett on the high side, Bennett Allen and Gabriel Lafreniere here on these first 2 rows, and Lafreniere maybe giving a little bit of a nudge here under caution to Logan Truett to let him know, hey, man, I'll be able to give you a push. You just got to open the door. And with that, the iRacing.com pace car heads on down pit road. Channing Ballou coming into the Geico restart zone. He gets ready, go, 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 go! And Channing Ballou getting the run here early on in this green flag run. 8 to go now, as it is an absolute nightmare behind him with RP Allen running the low side under Gabriel Lafreniere.
Bennett Allen sliding. He got loose there. Truett's going to try and take the advantage side by side as we go into turn 4. Still tight. They're about equal right now as we get to the start-finish line. Truett's going to take the apron, and he's not going to quite clear him yet. They're still going to be side by side into turn 3. I think this is where he'll get him. On the bottom side, rolling through, slides up a little bit, and he's clear.
And now the 15 of Bennett Allen trying to get on that left rear quarter panel of Logan Truitt, as he's not satisfied with just being on the podium. He wants more. And he puts Channing Ballou here in the crosshairs as he's still trying to get around Logan Truitt. And, you know, Jake, there is nothing more frustrating than getting stuck behind somebody lap after lap after lap. And it seems like no matter where they are or where you are, they are. And, you know, general rule of thumb is drive where they ain't. And right now, Logan Truitt has made this Ford Mustang 5 wide.
Yeah, he's pushing the limits. He wants to get to the lead and try and get to Channing Ballou. I just don't think he's got quite the speed for that, but he's going to make every position count. He wants to show that he is a good driver and he can run up top in this series.
Well, and Channing Ballou here in his rookie season in the Xfinity Series with a 0.6 of a second lead over Logan Truitt, also a newcomer to the A Lot Cleaner Xfinity Series, brought to you by A Lot Cleaner Property Maintenance. In fact, A Lot Cleaner also in their rookie season now with this particular league. And I'll tell you what, the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance team is headed up by the one and only Tony Burt. And if there's anybody who I would trust, my parking lot, Burt, he is just a great guy all around. As now I'm starting to see some connection issues with 3 to go here. 3 to go for Channing Ballou as he hauls it down into turn number 1. Logan Truitt in P2. Bennett Allen taking 3rd. Bennett Allen giving a little bit of breathing room now to Truitt, as perhaps he's decided it's time to just kind of fall in line. But right now, as Channing Ballou crosses the start-finish line, the popsicle sticks are in the air, Jake.
Yeah, 2 to go here in Phoenix. And Truitt's kind of closing up the gap a little bit. He's made his way, still about a 0.5 gap, but he's looking to get that lead. I just don't think it's going to be enough as we come down to the white flag. The flag man, Barney, has the white flag in his hand, waving it for Channing Ballou.
Channing Ballou crosses the start-finish line, and we are racing back to checkers as it looks like Logan Truitt just does not have what it takes to get up to the rear bumper of Ballou to make any kind of significant move. But Gabriel Lafreniere still trying to work the rear side of Bennett Allen, and it looks like Lafreniere may have just rubbed the wall, and that takes his momentum away. But one more time here, rolling out of turn 4, Channing Ballou getting ready to cross the start-finish line, and he wins the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series race here at Phoenix Raceway.
Yeah, and what a drive. I mean, he's had to fight all night long, and he's finally able to be happy and get that win, especially in a rookie season. So good for him.
And they come across the start-finish line on our podium, Ballou, Truitt, and Allen, with Gabriel Lafreniere, the first car not on the podium, with R.P. Allen, Kyle Ryan, Aaron Mack, Matt White, Dylan Eckert, and surprise, 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 Jeff Carson. Jeff Carson finishing in 10th with John Crow Sr. in 11th, Brad Gunn in 12th, and Mr. Consistency, Chris Claude, as Channing Ballou burn it down. And that'll about do it for Channing Ballou, as he just blew the engine there during his burnout. So let's get the winner here into the broadcast booth. Channing Ballou, Dave Regal up in a broadcast booth. You got a copy, brother?
Yeah, I got you, Dave.
Hey, man, listen, great run tonight as you come up 3 spots to finish here atop the pile. What was it like down there tonight with all of the cautions that we were dealing with?
It was frustrating, but it was also needed. I don't feel like our car was as good long run as some others. Like I was slipping the right rear a lot and losing a lot of drive off, but overall it was. I mean, this car is hard to drive here. Period, man. I mean, I'm telling you, I was wheeling it even at the end. It was never comfortable, no matter where I was or how I looked. It didn't. It wasn't looking good for me from back here.
Well, the Xfinity Series cars are known for being the most difficult of all to drive. I mean, there's a lot of torque at the rear end, and just like you were saying, slipping the right rear on exit. I mean, that's a common problem for so many people. Were you trying to make any kind of adjustments here in race?
I didn't touch the car once. I felt like it was just all driver at that point. I mean, I didn't feel like anything I did to the car was going to make it better or worse. So just really just focus on how I was hitting my marks and just trying to hit them and get a good straight drive off. And sometimes I'd do really well at that, and other times I'd be really bad at it. But I mean, there was a couple guys here that probably had better overall cars than I did. The 7 was really quick. It was hard to run him down, and I just kind of showed my nose a little bit, made him wash up the track. 48, he was always tough to pass. He was I really didn't mean to slide him and back up into his nose, but at the end of the day, that was the only move I could have made. It was incredibly hard to pass. Anybody that was on the top had to run off, and you couldn't, let the car float out to the wall on exit. So you had to keep it pinched down, and you're losing momentum, and it was just tough. Especially getting drive off with it being underneath somebody, it was pretty tough, and I'm sure everybody else felt the same way I did. This place is slick, man. It's not easy to drive with it being flat in 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4. I felt like we had that was the better part of our car. I felt like we were better than everybody in 3 and 4, but 1 and 2, a lot of people had more drive than we did.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you managed to work it up here and keep that all together. And, we talked about it in our show open, but we did have 3 races and 3 drivers bring home checkered flags. You continue this tradition here this season. 4 races, and you are the 4th different winner of the series. So, a lot of drivers, including now yourself, punching your ticket to the dance there for the postseason. What are you looking forward to as we get ready to head to Atlanta next week?
Well, Atlanta's going to be a mini super speedway, just a lot quicker reaction times. Going to be a lot of carnage. Going to have to, stay out of it as best as possible. But as Dale Jr. used to say, just try to lead them all, and it seems like the cleanest part of the track's in the lead there. But I think it's going to be a challenge. I mean, we're not fortunate enough to have the new pit entrance. So if we do ever have any green flag pit stops, it's going to be a nightmare getting on pit road. And I don't know how many people have actually practiced it. I haven't, and I've tried to do it one time and failed miserably. So I mean, Atlanta's got its challenges, and it's going to present something fierce for this league here. I mean, staying out of the wrecks is going to be the big deal.
Without a doubt. Well, listen, Channing, before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank for this run tonight?
I got to thank everybody over at Speed Clinic Racing. They provided a good car this week, good enough to win. I hated that Jeremy, Kaysen, and Chris all had problems, but it's a very treacherous race. I mean, there was a lot of different speeds out there. There was a lot of different lines that people were running. It was hard to predict where the lappers were going because they don't know which line you're going either, and it was hectic. I mean, this track is definitely one of the toughest on this simulator here. And I mean, everybody over at ReaperSpeedLab.com, they like I said, they helped with the B car this week, and Speed Clinic just did some fine tuning on it, and we were pretty good. I mean, I wish I could have had a little bit better drive, but other than that, we'll take it.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations. Go ahead and celebrate with your team there, and we will see you next Monday night at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Thank you, Dave.
That, of course, Channing Ballou, your Phoenix winner here tonight in the desert. Of course, it's always neat when you get to see a driver like him manage to bring it all the way home. But next up, Jake, I believe that you do have with you Mr. Logan Truitt as we get him up here into the broadcast booth. Jake, go ahead and see if you can get Logan on the radio.
Mr. Logan True, this is Jacob Zala from the SRM broadcast booth. You got a copy for me?
Yes, sir.
So you finished second tonight. I mean, I know it's not where you ultimately wanted. You know, first is definitely the goal here. Is there anything you could have done to the car to get to John, or was it just over the race? It just there wasn't enough speed for John or Channing. Sorry.
I mean, he was faster than me anyway. I had a little bit of damage from earlier in the race that didn't help. That speeding penalty set me back a little bit. Otherwise, I think I could have been right up there with him.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, with those extra set of tires, I mean, you said you had those extra set of tires. Was there any other strategy that you used with these cautions, or just use them up
Well,
when you could?
that last caution after that long green flag run, that's where I took the last set, and I think everyone else took their last set there too, so it ended up working out okay.
Gotcha. Well, I don't know if I have anything else to say. I mean, congratulations on the second place. If there's anybody you'd like to shout out and all that stuff, I'll give you the floor.
All right, well, first I want to shout out Kyle, teammate. Got damage early on, but he stuck through it. Ryan, who was on our team but didn't show up today, he usually runs up front with us, so I hope he can get back next week.
All right. Well, with that being said, I will let you get on your way. Celebrate that P2, Logan, and I will bring it to Dave, who I believe is going to have Bennett Allen.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Logan. And yes, as a matter of fact, I do have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Bennett Allen from Chattanooga, Tennessee, the 2022 MNN Series champion. He finishes on the podium tonight. Hey, Bennett, it's Dave up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. You got me?
I do. Listen, you haven't brought home the checkered flag yet this season in the Xfinity Series, but we've talked a whole lot when you're here on the podium or bringing home a green and white checkered flag. How are you feeling after this run tonight?
A little bit disappointed, to be honest with you. Coming into tonight, I was feeling pretty confident about the setup. For some reason during practice, it was way looser on exit than during the week. So I just kind of took my chances and picked a different setup, and it kind of worked out. I mean, P3 is not bad, but I just wish we could have taken home a checkered flag, but, you know, it's whatever. I mean, it's just a race. It's race, what, 4 out of 32, 36, whatever it is. So we got a lot of time to try to figure out, you know, what to do and try to gain a little bit more speed, because these guys are fast this year. I mean, we didn't really have Mike here today for some reason, so didn't have Mike or Chase or a bunch of other fast guys. So
yeah, I mean, you know, if there's any indication here, you know, for starters, we've had 4 races now here in the Xfinity Series and 4 different winners, and you know, your day is going to come. We know that. I mean, the Allen brothers cannot be held down, you know, for very long. The bubbles don't stop. They just get bigger as you guys start to come to the top of that pile. And, you know, getting ready for Atlanta next week, a little mini super speedway. How are you feeling going into that weekend?
Scared. We did a recruitment race before the season started there, and I won that. So maybe that's a good omen. I don't know. But it's a tricky track just for being a super speedway type track too. So, I mean, it's slick. There's more moving around. It's single file, but a lot of passing. So I'm excited yet scared, and I'm just hoping to see how these other guys handle it. I was around a couple of those lap cars today that scared me. So that's those guys I'm mostly worried about, but everyone else I have confidence in good, hard, clean racing.
Oh, trust me, I know all too well about the perils of a lapped car. As you know, last night here in Cup Series, I had my own struggles with getting around a lap car. I mean, you know, you fought the good fight tonight, and you managed to come out here on the podium. So, you know, I totally understand. And before we cut you loose, as always, who do you need to thank for this run?
Bobby Blades Vintage and JCTV, everyone on the car, everyone at Money House Racing, Leo, Austin, Joseph, all of them. All of them are all my friends, and I appreciate them. You know, we spend a lot of time together in the Discord, so, you know, we all make paint schemes and stuff, so it's kind of fun to kind of run them on the car. And we're just hoping that over the course of the year we get faster and faster and keep representing JCTV and Bobby Blade's vintage strong.
Yeah, man, I'll miss you next week in Atlanta, but I will absolutely be tuned in to see what you guys are up to. So good luck next week in Atlanta. Congratulations on the podium finish tonight. Listen, I don't think you can get that car down the ramp. You can't
I'm
parallel
stuck.
park like that.
Yeah.
Well, listen, congratulations on the podium tonight, and we'll see you next week in Atlanta.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Bennett. And, Jake, welcome into the broadcast booth. As, I'd like to formally, now that you've got this one under your belt, let you know that this is the kind of racing that you should expect to see every week, as these drivers have worked their butts off tonight. And before we get out of here, I do want to remind everybody that there is no truck race tomorrow night for the SNN family of racing, as the Truck Series is off this week. But make sure that you tune in Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on Sim Racing Media on YouTube.com, as the SNN Cup Series is going to be in Hotlanta for the Am Better Health 400. So definitely going to be a hot race there in Hotlanta. And right before we get out of here, it's time to take a quick rundown of our final results. Channing Ballou, Logan Truitt, and Bennett Allen make up your podium tonight. Channing Ballou bringing home his first checkered flag of the season, our fourth different winner of the season, which is pretty exciting for me as I keep banging that drum. So maybe next week we'll see a repeat winner, or Bennett Allen's foreshadowing of the recruitment race that we had in the offseason might be just enough to put him over the top and finally get to victory lane. Gabriel Lafreniere finishing in fourth position with R.P. Allen, the brother of Bennett Allen, finishing in the top five with Kyle Ryan, Aaron Mack, Matt White, Dylan Ackert, and Jeff Carson in the number 9 Micro Center Toyota Supra, finishing out the top 10. John Crow Sr., Brad Gunn, Chris Claude, Corey Burkett, John Bawalda finishing out the top 15 with Brandon Minto, Bob Nestor, Eugenio Alonso, Andrew T. Jones, and Finn Robinson rounding out the top 20. Lauren Jones finishes 21st after a tough night, but still up 13 positions. Sean Kelly down 8 in the 38. Finishes 22nd. Dan Morgan and Chris Custer finishing 23rd and 24th, respectively, with Ron Fitting having a hard run tonight as well, finishing in 25th. Anthony Paggio just managing to get 26th tonight, with Doug Argerbright, Kason Platt, Tony Burt, and Chris Mathis rounding out the top 30. Of course, Tony Burt, the owner of the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Company, there, the sponsor here for our Xfinity Series races on a Sunday night, on a Monday night. Jeremy Paris, Kavaja Holt, Chad Sanner, and Carlos Ramos round out your field. So 34 drivers started this race. Not that many finished. And Jake, as we wrap this up, how was it here for your first night?
It was awesome. It was a great race. There was some cautions, but I mean, you expect that when you're racing, so nothing I can't complain about. There was a lot of action, a lot of fights going on, and it was a great time all around.
Yeah, great fun going around. A lot of fights, as you had noted, and that's something that we're going to see more and more this season as the heat gets turned up. So, again, thank you for joining me here in the broadcast booth. Not sure who's going to be filling the seat next Monday night, but I'm well assured that whoever it is will be here to carry the torch on the A Lot Cleaner Monday Night Xfinity Series race live from Atlanta Motor Speedway. And for that, I'm Dave Riegel. He's Jacob Sala. This is Sim Racing Media. And tomorrow, as you go through your day, make sure that you find that one happy moment and hang on to it, because with a happy thought, you can fly. Good night, everybody.